he said to Joshua, do not be afraid. Do not. God has no fear in his DNA. None. He doesn't comprehend fear. He cannot operate in fear. So when he comes in, don't let him have to walk around like this because too much fear is in the room. We spend years getting degrees, all that kind of stuff. And we spend a few hours, a week, a month, trying to understand what God has what? Said. It was concretized in the leaders, in Joshua's mind, what God has said. Because what's important is not his enemy that's coming against him. It's really what? What God has said. Are you with me? And what God has said is far more important than any force that acts against us. Anything. What God has said is 10 times, 1,000,000 times more important than anything that anyone else has said. So God said, no one will be able to stand up against you. Verse number 5. No one. No one. And no one means what? No one. So guess who sleeps well at night? Joshua. Right? Guess who doesn't sleep like this? With one eye open? Joshua. Guess who is not ruminating all right and twisting and turning? Joshua. Because God told him that no one will be able to stand against him. If you want to be at a place of peace, listen to what God has said. He goes on. He says, as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. And then he reminds him, he says, I will never what? Leave you, nor will I ever forsake you. Ever forsake you. I travel a lot, and I mentioned this sometimes, and there are times when you feel like that plane is doing its thing. And I have to say, I have to remind myself what the Word of God said. I will never leave you, nor what? Forsake you. And then it says, be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people. It's really important to God that his people demonstrate a sense of strength. Look at verse 8. Do not let this book of the law depart from your what? Mouth. Now, why is that important? Because we ought to read it, study it, and we need to keep speaking it. Confessing it. When we're in need, we're confessing it. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor is what? Seed begging bread. When we're sick, we need to be claiming his healing. It should not depart from our mouth. We must also, he says, meditate on it. When? Day and night. And then he says, so that you may be careful to do everything that's written in it. So this is Joshua's commission. This is our commission. This is what we have. This is what's going for us. We have a lot of things not going for us, right? And it's easy for us to spit them off. We could do with a little more what? What could we do with a little more? Everybody's going to save money, right? We could do with a little more time. We could do with a little more love. Lots of things. But what's going for us? What's going for us? We have God in our corner. We have God in our corner. So if we have God in our corner, don't behave like we live in the little basement that God can't come into. Are you with me? Are you with me? It doesn't mean that everything is perfect. Everything wasn't perfect for Joshua. But he knew that in his circumstance, there was a God who will never leave him nor forsake him. He knew that he had someone who was going to rescue him.